Alright traders, so in this video I'm going to be making a recap of my trade from yesterday, which trade was around the CPI event for Bitcoin USD. And without further ado, let's dive into the analysis. We are going to start from the weekly chart. This is the last all-time high 2 years ago, and we want to mark this level like this. The only thing that I can see here was this fair value gap, which is still not rebalanced, and we are going to mark it as a weekly fair value gap. And actually this is all for the weekly time frame. We don't have much history around these price levels. Now we're going to continue to daily time frame and see what do we have here. So I forgot to mention that yesterday's date was Tuesday, 12th of March 2024, and it was CPI on that date, 1 hour before market open at 8:30. So on the daily time frame, again, nothing too interesting to see here. This candle, which represents the yesterday's candle, it's already closed here, so we didn't have that wick to the downside yet. And what I noticed on the daily time frame was this high here, which high we can use for a mitigation block. And also the yesterday's high was still not broke here, so we are going to mark it as a buy side liquidity. And this is all for the daily. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Right at the first look at it, we can clearly see that we have an open fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame. So here is the last week's high and the high from a few days ago that we have marked up as a mitigation block. One other thing that we have here, actually one thing here I missed yesterday was this inversion fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame again. Let's mark it up. So this thing I have missed it. I didn't watch so further away from the price. That's why I have missed it. But let's mark it right now and see what else can we see here. Here is the yesterday's high up here, and these two 4-hour candles are having relevantly highs also. Right here we can see that we have right on this candle and this candle here completely equal lows. So we are going to mark them like this and look for something that I'm missing right now. Oh yes, this move from this candle down here, from the wick of this candle down here, all the way up to the last high up here from yesterday. This is the 50% retracement level of this whole move from bottom to the top up here. This whole move, by looking at this right now on this time frame, 4-hour time frame, we can clearly see that was not balanced. So what do I mean by that? The price make a move from the lowest point down here all the way to the up here without making any kind of a correction to the 50% retracement, which is meaning that again this whole move is not balanced, and we have a pretty big chance to see the price trade to this level down here before eventual continuation to the upside. We can see that here right at the middle of this 4-hour fair value gap, we are starting to see a concentration of interesting levels which are acting like a magnets for the price, and it's very possible to see the price fall all the way to these levels down here. So now, after we have made the analysis from the 4-hour time frame, we are going to continue to the next time frame, which is 1 hour. And now we are going to make an analysis on this time frame. So what am I seeing right away on this time frame? That the 4-hour time frame fair value gap is also 1 hour time frame fair value gap. We can make this 1h/4h. So this fair value gap starting to have much more power for pulling the price towards her. Again, we can clearly see the relevantly lows down here and down here, which represents the sell side liquidity. And again, the yesterday's high, where is the buy side liquidity. Here also we can see that those two highs here and here are also relevantly equal, and can see now that the price is closed between this range here. So I think that's all for the 1 hour time frame. And also I forgot to mention that again, the whole move from down here all the way to the up here, this is the 50% level, which is clearly not balanced yet. So again, this makes the last week's high very possible to be tested with today's price action. So now when we are done with the 1 hour time frame, we're going to the 15 minutes time frame. And again, right away, we can see very clearly that these lows down here, here, and here, down here are relevantly equal. This is one of the targets that I will have for this trade, and the other targets will be those relevantly equal highs up here, and eventually the last all-time high from the yesterday's candle. Something else that we can see right away is this. This is the last fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame that is still not balanced. And again, where do we find this fair value gap at? Right around the middle of the 1 hour and 4 hour fair value gap, and the 50% retracement of this whole move, and the mitigation block from the last week's high. So again, on this time frame, we can see that this level around 70,000 US dollars is very magnetic, and it's look very powerful. So let's put one magnet on it like this, so that we can know that this level is pulling the price. Let's not forget that this level here is also a round number. So now the levels are looking pretty solid. What I'm using those levels for are usually to exit a position or enter into a position. Right now we are in very powerful bull market, so it's not very good to trade against the hard trend. But as you can see, we are also having a pretty nice sell-offs. I'm more a short trader. I like to sell, and I'm making way more money by selling instead of buying the market. What I'm gonna be hoping for the price to do when the event strikes is to see something like this. The first scenario that I think is very possible to see is pushing those two levels above and then go all the way down to this fair value gap, eventually to the middle of it where all those levels are, and going for the upside afterwards. The second scenario that I think is possible also, we can just see straight going down very fast to these levels down here, and then I'm gonna be looking for a buy all the way at least to this level up here, or eventually a new all-time high. So those are the two scenarios that I have in mind for today, and I won't take any trade before I see the price pushing at least one of these levels to the downside or to the upside. Again, it's very risky to play short, to take a short in this environment that we're finding ourselves right now in this bull market, but we are going to wait and see what will the price tell us. On the 15-minute time frame, we are 15 minutes away from the event, and now we are going to go to the actual chart that I have used yesterday, and we are going to return the price all the way from where we have stopped our analysis. So this here is a 1 minute time frame, but I'm sure that you can orientate where are the levels finding at. Here are the relevantly equal lows down here, and the relevantly equal highs up here, with also this one maybe, and the last all-time high. So I was expecting for the price, as I told you, when the event strikes, to see very fast push up and eventual trade all the way to this relevantly equal lows down here, and dipping into the 4 hour and 1 hour fair value gap, possibly reaching all the way to the mitigation block and the 15-minute fair value gap that we have still not touched here. And afterwards, eventually having a new all-time highs, or just going down fast and afterwards pumping up. So what ended up happening was this. Let's see now what the CPI. Here is the time for the CPI. Sorry, this is my local time here. Let's go to the New York local time, and this is 8:30 New York, right at CPI. So what ended up happening is the price make 3 fast pushes, but not so fast pushes to the downside, but end up right on the event. The price wasn't able to break out of the ranges. The event passed and we had our target levels clear from the upside and also clear from the downside. And I was starting to watch very carefully what will the price do next. Right here I was thinking that if I was the older me, not the older me, the younger me, I would have been taking an entry around here after seeing this spike to the downside around the news, grabbing these small liquidity levels down here and trying to catch the move all the way to this level, at least eventually to the all-time high. But with the time I have started to have more patience and not making a stupid mistakes, and I decided to stay calm and wait for my rules to play out. So what were my rules? I just wait to see the price break above or below this whole range that we have here, and then eventually look for some kind of signals for taking the opposite side of the market. And what ended up happening was the price moved a lot sideways, and the older me here would have been very possibly shaken out of a trade. If I would have been taking a trade here with this kind of stop, I would have liked to see the price go very fast up here without any kind of a sideways or corrections. And if I was the older me and saw all this price action without going right away to my target, on this move to the downside here, I would have been thinking to exit from my position. What ended up happening again, the price go back up again and again fail to push through our target levels up here and continued consolidating right around this level here. I was very sure that we're going to see a push through this level before eventually sell off. But again, the price started tricking us to take a short position here with this move and putting a stop loss above here. But again, I stayed calm and waited to see what will happen. I don't care if I'm going to miss the trade to the downside. So I continued watching what will the price do next. All this time I was thinking, so we didn't see the move that we were expecting right at the event. When we don't see this around the event, usually we are going to see it around the market open, or maybe half an hour after it, worst case 1 hour after the market open. And again I continued waiting to see what the price will do. Actually this was very fast. When I look at that, it was very slow, very slow. And when I saw this whole move, I was really impatient actually. I really wanted to short the Bitcoin right here around 72,500 level, right around here with half of my position and wait for eventual signal to take the other half. But I remained calm, and right after the pushing above this yesterday's high, the price started to reject, and I was again sitting on my hands as much as possible after this candle, actually right around here before this candle even closed. When I saw this smaller fair value gap got inversion, I started to take position right about a few seconds before this candle closed, and actually I was able to enter at a very nice level up here, and the level was 72 On the futures are a little bit different, but around here somewhere I was able to take an entry with half of my position. And then I've waited a bit to see if the next candle is going to bounce to the upside or it's going to continue further down. I was able to short almost 2 bitcoins, and knowing that I'm shorting only 1 bitcoin, risking less than 1%, 0.7%, I was feeling okay to risk that amount for eventual taking of all of this profit to the downside, which is very nice. In that way, my trade was looking with almost 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. This was the average price that I was able to get in with the short position. And right a few seconds after my entry, the price flushed very fast with 1%, but didn't came all the way to my first target level, which was the relevantly equal lows down here. So I decided to remain calm and wait for the next pushes to the downside, because I was pretty confident that we are going to see pushed at least through these equal lows down here and eventually dipping into the 4-hour and 1-hour fair value gap. The next candle was a bounce. I was expecting that bounce to came all the way up here in the next candle, where the 50% retracement is finding at of this whole sell-off move. But instead of that, the price left this relevantly equal lows down here and down here, and again started bouncing. After I saw this relevantly equal lows down here, I decided to take a partial of my position. This partial of my position was 50%. I took 50% off when the price dipped below this level. Actually, I was planning to take 1/4 of my position, which I did when the price dipped below. But when I saw that the price start bouncing back up again, I decided to take another 1/4 of my position, and I end up with closing half of my position at around 1% of my entry. So after that, price consolidate a little bit and start bouncing up again. And I was very happy that I took some profits down here, and now the 50% retracement is finding itself from up here all the way to the down here, right in this 1 minute fair value gap. Again, I was expecting the price to reach it before eventually continuing to the downside. I remain calm and wait for the price to see what will be the next move. We got very close to this level, and here was also a 15-minute and 1 minute, a 5-minute and 1 minute inversion fair value gap, which reacted as a resistance for the price, and eventually it kind of hold the price to the downside. And from here on, the price continued going into my favor, left this relevantly equal lows here, which I expected again to see some kind of a bounce if we dip a little bit below them. And here is the small bounce, continued a little bit further up all the way to this inversion, 1 minute inversion fair value gap, and we got another sell-off. I forgot to mention that all of this happened half an hour after the market opened. So the market opened right here, and we did see a very fast move, which usually is a fake move, pushing the stops after half an hour around 10 o'clock. And after this, the dump started. And then right here is the next hour closure, which is looking like this, very bearish after taking all this liquidity above these levels up here. And I was expecting very fast flush to the downside after this candle closure. And right after the closure, actually right before the closure, 1 or 2 minutes before the closure, the price started dipping down very fast. I took my profits, it was around here somewhere. I took my profits and closed all of my position. So again, I thought this is enough for me. I was able to close more than 1.5% for the day. Let me show you. This is my Binance account, and here you can see my entries on the Bitcoin USD coin multiplier because I have deposited Bitcoin, and I'm using a coin multiplier because I have a higher leverage here. I'm able to trade almost 5 BTCs when in the USD multiplier I'm not able to trade more than 1 BTC. So you can see my entries here, up here on 72,729 was my first entry with a half a Bitcoin. Yes, my second entry was 72,626. And here is my first 2 exits with 2/4 of my position, meaning the half of my position was reduced at these levels down here when we break these relevantly equal lows, just in case to take some profit. And eventually all the way this move here on, I was starting to move my stop loss closer to my entry, right above this last green candle, afterwards even lower when the price started going down here. And here is my second exits with my other half. You can see here, this is my local time actually. I have to make my settings to New York local time, but you can orientate. So this is representing 10 o'clock and this is representing 11 o'clock. Here are my 2 sales, and the first take profits and the second one, and this one here is closing all the rest. Actually, this was my profit, I think. And here is my PNL for the day, which is 0.0173 when we multiply it by 71,000. You can see this is all of my profit for the day. I forgot to mention the fee. So the fees were around $72 because I was a taker, not a maker, so the fees are a bit higher. Here you can see my whole net PNL of this trade from yesterday. I was risking $572 for a potential target of $1,286, which we have got very close to when we don't count the fees. I forgot to mention the amount of USD that I was trading with. So right here you can see what was the difference that I've made by deposit 0.06933 BTC, and this was yesterday's around 2 o'clock of my local time PM. I withdraw 0.0856 of Bitcoin at 5 o'clock PM my local time. After my exit, right away we had a pretty solid bounce, and after which bounce I would have been regretting not taking at least 90% of my position. So I'm very glad that I took all of my position off right here, so that I don't be wandering around this price here. Should I get out or should I stay for lower prices? If I have to be honest, maybe I would have been taking the profits here if I would have been staying in this position through all this sideways movement here. But as we can see, what happened afterwards, the price reached our target level, our magnetic levels down here, which is $70,000, and the middle of this whole big move from the bottom to the top. The 50% retracement level is here. The mitigation block from the last week's high is also here, and the 15-minute fair value gap, which was still not touched here. Again, this magnet worked very well. And afterwards, actually the price got even further to the downside. Let's see if the price hit even this small inversion fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame that I haven't been taking in mind, and also the last all-time high level. So that will be all for my yesterday's trade. It was very nice. It was very risky to take a short on a new all-time high, but I'm a short trader, so I'm feeling way more comfortable shorting instead of longing. But if the price falls all the way through these levels down here before eventually breaking these highs here, maybe I would have been taking some kind of an entry here for the upper levels. I forgot to mention that right around the high of the 4-hour fair value gap was also the 250-minute EMA, which is also a very nice level for an exit. That's why I took an exit right here. So that's gonna be all for my recap of the yesterday's CPI Bitcoin USD trading. I hope you found this helpful. If you like videos like this, you can follow me everywhere. You can find more information in the descriptions below the video. You will be able to watch my live trades and the full videos of my live trades on my Discord server, which is not ready yet, but I hope if everything is alright, after a month or two, to be ready for use. And for the first of you which are going to buy my monthly subscriptions for my Discord group, they will get a very cheap lifetime monthly subscription. Hope you're well. With that said, see you in the next video.